Hello, I'm veterinarian Dr. Jeff Werber, and I'd like to congratulate you for performing one of the noblest acts possible, adopting a pet. By doing so, you've surely saved a life. Yet according to statistics, nearly half of you may end up returning your new pet. Why? Mainly because people are totally unprepared for what's ahead of them as pet owners. Well, this program is intended to remedy that. What many new or inexperienced owners see as major problems are actually easily correctable. Our goal is to let you know some of the important and basic things you need to understand now to ensure years of fun and pleasure with your new friend. This video is loaded with useful information on a variety of subjects pertaining to you and your new pet. We suggest you watch the program all the way through the first time. If you'd like to review a particular subject anytime afterward, each subject has been color-coded for easy reference. We hope you'll find this video informative and enlightening. Being a responsible and educated pet owner greatly increases your chances of being a satisfied pet owner.
Your new friend's first day at his new home can be tough. Dr. Jeff's tips can make them easier.
Even if it's a warm and loving environment, a new home takes some getting used to. So the first few days may require some adjustments from you and your dog. It's a shock for your new pet, especially a puppy, to be without his mother or litter mates. So from the very beginning, you want to make him feel as wanted as possible. Though you'd probably like to share your room with your newest family member and vice versa, for house training reasons, it's probably best to confine him to a smaller area, preferably one with a linoleum or tiled floor, or even a crate designed for just that purpose. Besides a roomy, comfortable, and chew-resistant place to sleep, your new pet might also appreciate a chew toy, and if it's a puppy, even the regular ticking noise of an alarm clock, which some say reminds him of the sound of his mother's heartbeat. Even with all that, you still should be prepared for some crying the first few nights, especially if your dog or puppy is kept where he can't see you. As tempted as you might be to go and comfort him, don't give in. It will only reinforce the crying behavior, which may make it a nightly occurrence. Also, try not to spoil your dog. It's not always necessary to give your pet attention when he wants it, but be very ready to give praise when he deserves it.
Remember, always try to encourage good behavior. Your new friend is experiencing a lot of changes, so you want to ease him into any new routines. For instance, it might be a good idea, at least for the first few days, to feed the same type and amount of food he was being fed before.
Changing the diet abruptly can lead to intestinal problems like diarrhea, which leads us to another important point, the need to monitor your new friend as carefully as you can in the beginning. Watch for problems like depression, lethargy, loss of appetite, vomiting, diarrhea, or anything else that just doesn't seem right. It may be the stress of a new home, or it may be something that requires medical attention. In any event, though, you'll want to make an appointment with your veterinarian as soon as possible for a full examination. If you don't have a veterinarian, a friend or neighbor, your local veterinary medical association, or the shelter may be able to refer you to a doctor in your area.
Potty-trained kids, house-trained pups. Show them, Dr. Jeff.
By now, I'm sure you've already discovered whether your new friend has perfected his bathroom habits yet. House training is very often an exercise in frustration for owners and dogs alike. But with a little patience and preparation, it can be a relatively painless process for all concerned. There are two basic methods for house training dogs. Depending on the age of your dog and your family situation, crate training or denning is often the best method of house training and preventing behavior problems. Your first order of business is to buy a flight kennel box or a collapsible cage with a removable tray, like this one from your pet store. It doesn't have to be huge, just big enough for your dog to stand, lie down, or turn around in. Put him inside with a chew toy for amusement and let him get used to his new surroundings. He may cry at first, but he'll shortly adjust. Keep your pet in for a short time, then take him outside. When he relieves himself, praise him and bring him back in. After a little supervised play and another trip outside, put him back in the kennel. Never let him out when he cries. This will only reinforce bad habits. Gradually increase the kennel time until your dog's there at night and when you're out of the house or can't be there to watch him. Because dogs tend to keep themselves clean, this will help him develop bladder and bowel control. Once he's mastered this, you want to begin keeping the kennel door open at night. For the first night or two, or when you must leave him in more than a couple of hours, you may still want to leave some papers down outside the cage for security reasons. After 2 or 3 days, your puppy may be able to stay clean the evening through. However, some young dogs may take longer. Most 2-month-old puppies can control themselves for up to 3 hours. Then add about 1 hour control for every month of age to a maximum of 8 to 10 hours.
Most dogs all learn quickly to keep their cages clean. This is an ideal method for older dogs. It allows for fewer mistakes, and it's a much faster house training technique. Bear in mind, however, that many dogs from pet shops or shelters are already used to using their living quarters as a bathroom. So denning as a training tool may be of limited effectiveness for them. Denning is also a good way to keep your dog out of trouble when you can't supervise him. It's not at all cruel. Dogs actually tend to feel more secure in small, confined spaces.
For larger dogs, or one who seem resistant to regular-sized kennel boxes, an adjustable dog or puppy pen should be an excellent substitute. But whichever type of den you choose, it should never be used as punishment. Another recommended house training method is paper training. Just choose a small area of your house, like a bathroom or kitchen, and cover the entire floor with newspapers. Then add your dog's bed, food and water dish, and some toys. This will be the puppy's living area whenever you can't be around to supervise him directly. As your dog or puppy begins using the papers to relieve himself, he'll start associating the texture, smell, and location of newspaper with the act of elimination. When you're home with him, only let him back into the area at key times, such as after he plays, wakes up from a nap, or eats or drinks. In a few days, he'll be running over to the paper all on his own. At this point, you can start reducing the amount of paper covering his area and begin outdoor training. Several times a day, take him out to an area you've already prepared. Let him relieve himself, praise him, and bring him back in. Once your puppy seems to be getting the hang of it and eliminating only outdoors, you can extend his living area to other rooms.
Depending on the age of the dog and how diligent you are, paper training should take 5 to 10 days for most puppies. If accidents keep on occurring frequently, it's usually a sign that you're rushing things.
Whether you elect to crate train, paper train, or use a combination of both, for example, kennel on weekends and paper train during the week, mistakes will happen, which brings up another point, the way you discipline your dog or puppy when they do make mistakes. Ideally, you want to catch them in the act, and when you do, you need to interrupt this behavior with a firm no, as well as some other methods which we'll discuss later. Immediately lead him outside and give him major praise when he completes the act. A punishment should be effective and encourage the desired result, or it's not even worth your efforts. To be most effective, it's best to catch your dog in the act of his misbehavior, or pretty darn close, certainly within 5 or so minutes. When you discover such a mistake, bring him to the spot he soiled. Never call your dog to you for discipline. Show him the mistake, tell him no firmly, then release him. Use a napkin to transport the urine or feces to the outdoor location where you want your dog to eliminate. Bring the dog there, show him the napkin, and give him lots of praise. That's all you have to do. If the mistake has been there a while, just clean it up, and you'll know to keep a closer watch on your dog to prevent the next one. Incidentally, a good odor neutralizer or pet stain remover is your best bet for cleaning soiled areas. Household cleansers or disinfectants only seem to make dogs return to the scene of their crimes.
My favorite part, everything fit to eat.
This may not look like very hard work, but puppies actually expend a lot of energy, especially in their early, rapid growth period. They need foods especially formulated to meet their extra calorie, protein, vitamin, and mineral requirements. Puppy food, in other words. Almost any commercial name brand will do, but many veterinarians and breeders recommend the pet store or veterinary brands. Don't be put off by the price tag. These brands offer more calories and provide more energy so that your dog can eat less and still get all the nutrients he needs. And because you use less, these foods actually turn out to be less expensive than they may seem at first glance. Now that you know what to feed your new dog, the next step is to determine how often those feedings should be. Try to feed young puppies, those under 4 months of age, 3 times daily. Twice a day is fine too if that's all you can do it. Some puppies will go on eating twice daily throughout their entire first year, while others may start showing a preference for a single meal a day. This will vary with the breed or size of the dog. By 1 year of age, most small and medium-sized dogs are ready to switch to adult dog food. While many veterinarians now recommend keeping larger dogs on puppy food up to 1.5 years or even 2 years. Whenever you decide the time is right to switch to adult food, do it gradually over a few days. This will help your dog avoid problems like diarrhea. As I mentioned earlier, most pet store, veterinary, and non-generic commercial brands of dog food contain all the nutrients your dog needs. There is also a large variety of vitamins and minerals available to supplement your pet's diet. Most veterinarians agree, however, that if your dog is getting well-balanced meals, these products are unnecessary. If you're thinking of using a vitamin or mineral supplement, please consult with your veterinarian first. And here's another subject that stirs up considerable debate: to chew or not to chew. Some pet owners fear that giving their puppies chew toys sets a bad precedent. But the fact is that all dogs need to chew, especially puppies. Regular chewing helps them get rid of their baby teeth at the right time and helps keep their permanent teeth properly aligned. The question isn't whether they should chew then, but what. There are numerous products on the market today that are both safe and satisfying. For instance, nylon and plastic polymer bones are sturdy and, since your dog won't be able to break off chunks, extremely safe. For the same reason, chew sticks made of pressed rawhide chips are relatively risk-free as well. Bones and chew sticks made of sheet rawhide, on the other hand, can unravel as they're softened by your dog's saliva, allowing him to detach and possibly choke on large chunks. Soft rubber playthings pose a similar hazard. That doesn't mean they should be banned from your home, but you should observe a few precautions with these products. If you can, remove the plastic noisemaker from soft, squeaky toys. If they're swallowed, they can cause choking or major intestinal problems. Unlike with nylon or plastic polymer toys, don't allow your puppy or dog too much unattended playtime with soft rubber products or bones and sticks made of sheet rawhide. And at the earliest sign of wear, dispose of these toys and buy something new. There are a number of steps you can take to help ensure a long and healthy life for your pet. The right toys, the right food, and please, sensible portions. Obesity is the #1 nutritional disease and can lead to a number of serious health problems. You may think you're doing a pet a favor by giving him frequent treats or table scraps. What you're actually doing is setting the stage for trouble down the road. Obese dogs have an increased incidence of joint and locomotor problems and heart and lung disease, and are greater surgical risks, and have more skin, metabolic, and even endocrine problems like diabetes. In fact, there also seems to be a higher incidence of cancer in obese dogs. It's as hard for dogs to lose weight as it is for people, so it's never too early to establish good eating habits.
That means keeping fattening treats and table scraps to a minimum.
And introducing your dog to the benefits of a regular exercise program, which we'll discuss at greater length in our next section.
Wait till you see this. Dog aerobics.
In the wild, animals rarely have to worry about exercise. Most of their waking hours are spent in pursuit of food, a process that burns up a lot of energy. But when the food supply is only as far away as the pantry, that's a horse or a dog of a totally different color. Exercise is extremely important to adult dogs and puppies alike and should be done on a daily basis. But be careful not to give your pet too much of a good thing. Puppies in particular need a certain amount of movement and stress for their bones and muscles to develop properly. But too much of a pounding on joints and skeletal structures can lead to long-term physical damage. That's especially true of those large breed dogs, which are highly susceptible to hip problems. Until they're at least 2 years old, these dogs should get only moderate exercise, with none of the persistent pounding they get while jogging on pavement or playing on other hard surfaces. Let the dog gradually work his way up to more vigorous exercise, and check the pads of his feet frequently for signs of injury. 20 minutes of moderate exercise a day is ideal, whether it's chasing a frisbee or tennis ball in the park, or taking a brisk walk together. In fact, it's not only a good workout for your dog, it's healthy for you too. Of course, you have to exercise common sense as well as muscles. Take suitable precautions if it's extremely hot or cold outside. And if you have an older dog or one with arthritis or other partially debilitating medical conditions, consult with your veterinarian before starting your exercise plan. Regular exercise, it's a good way to keep your dog fit. And, just as important, it's a great way to have fun together.
Health problems? An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure.
If your pet were suddenly sick or injured, you'd automatically take him to your local veterinarian or pet hospital. But veterinarians provide far more than just emergency care. Regularly scheduled, thorough medical examinations are key to maintaining the health and well-being of your pet. Puppies need special attention, especially when they're quite young. Your veterinarian will examine him closely for existing or potential health problems and will start him on a series of vaccinations to help build his immune system. This usually takes place from 7 up to 20 weeks of age. Be sure, too, when bringing your puppy in for an exam, to bring along a stool sample so it can be checked for parasites. Vaccines are needed not just to ensure the early health of your young pet, but also to help him maintain a high level as he grows and matures. Your dog should get some booster vaccines once and others twice a year. Some of the diseases we commonly vaccinate for are canine distemper and canine hepatitis, both potentially life-threatening. Leptospirosis, a bacterial disease mainly affecting the kidneys. Parainfluenza, a virus that causes upper respiratory infections. Parvovirus, a highly contagious and often fatal intestinal disease. And rabies, a dangerous, deadly disease with public health significance. These vaccines not only make good medical sense, in some cases, as with rabies, they're required by law. Many veterinarians will also routinely vaccinate against coronavirus, another intestinal disease, Bordetella bronchoseptica, an upper respiratory infection, and if you live in a high-risk area, Lyme disease. In most parts of the country where mosquitoes are a problem, your veterinarian also will want to check your dog and begin preventive medication against heartworms. This is very important since a heartworm infection can be fatal if left undetected and untreated. There are steps you can do at home to safeguard your dog's health too. One of the easiest but most important is maintaining a regular program of brushing his teeth. There are toothbrushes available on the market that have been specially designed to be used on dogs. The brush head sizes differ depending on the size of the animal and the condition of its gums. They're completely effective and extremely easy to use. Remember, never use human toothpaste on your dog. Use only gels that have been formulated specifically for dogs. Since brushing teeth may be a little strange for both you and your dog at first, I recommend you consult your veterinarian for some easy techniques to get you started. Not only will your dog quickly get used to having his teeth brushed, I bet he'll soon begin looking forward to it eagerly. 2 to 3 times a week, a few minutes each time. That's all it takes to help avoid costly major dental problems throughout his life. Here's another weapon all dog owners should have in their healthcare arsenal. Regular grooming helps your dog feel comfortable and look good, of course, but it's also an important part of controlling skin diseases and parasites like ticks, lice, or fleas. You'll find an awful lot of shampoos and flea control products on your supermarket shelves. I suggest you avoid these and instead get your veterinarian to recommend effective skin and coat care formulations. There are a number of excellent products on the market for conditions like dry skin or excessive shedding. Be sure to ask your veterinarian too about flea control products for your pet, your home, and your yard that are reliable and safe. Remember, in order to mount a successful battle against annoying fleas, you'll have to attack all 3 of these areas at the same time.
If you work with your veterinarian to practice preventive medicine, stopping problems before they can start, you greatly increase the odds of your dog leading a happy, healthy life. Spaying and neutering are important preventative procedures, but many people question if they're necessary.
The answer is all around us. Each year in the United States, millions of unwanted dogs and cats are put to sleep in our nation's pounds and shelters.
Population control is reason enough for spaying and neutering, but it's also true that the procedures are just plain good for your dog. In females, it can help prevent a number of serious infections and diseases, including mammary, ovarian, and uterine cancer. In fact, mammary cancer can be almost completely eliminated if you spay your dog prior to her second heat, which is around 14 months of age. Neutering has major health benefits for male dogs, too. Plus, it makes them less likely to roam away from home. Contrary to popular myth, spaying and neutering won't change your dog's basic personality, make him less effective as a watchdog, or cause him to become fat and lazy. What you will have is a better house pet. I mentioned earlier that puppies require special medical attention. The same can be true for older dogs.
Just like people, older dogs are subject to a number of infirmities, like arthritis and joint problems, cataracts, dental wear and periodontal disease, and an increased risk of heart and respiratory problems and cancer. Older, less active dogs also have different nutritional requirements from their more energetic juniors. Fortunately, there are a number of products available that are specifically designed to keep aging dogs trim and fit. Maybe you can't teach an old dog new tricks, but with a proper diet, the right amount of exercise, and regular visits to your veterinarian, you can enjoy his company for a long, long time.
Good manners? Yep, I've got them, and I'm happy I do.
By training, we mean a lot more than teaching your dog a few cute tricks. Proper training can help save your sanity, your furniture, and just possibly your dog's life. A large part of training is just common sense. You can avoid destructive behavior before it starts by keeping potentially harmful things out of reach. And when that's not possible, most veterinarians and pet stores sell products that effectively discourage chewing. Some of these will protect your valuable items both inside and outdoors. Dogs need to chew, so keep those things you like to remain intact out of temptation's path. And don't confuse your friend by letting him play with old clothes or inappropriate toys. He can't tell the difference between a rawhide slipper and an expensive pair of dress shoes. If you should catch your dog in the act of destructive chewing or any objectionable behavior, he must be interrupted immediately. Say no one time firmly, then give him an appropriate chew toy and give him lots of praise. That's it. Never hit or kick your dog. If your verbal correction is not successful, there are several other methods which will also interrupt the behavior. The first is the shaker or penny can, which can be used to startle the dog. The second is a good plant sprayer. And finally, handheld ultrasonic devices, sirens, or air horns. Whichever technique you use, be certain to give your dog an appropriate chew toy and lots of praise as soon as the inappropriate behavior ceases. Many behavioral problems, such as digging and chewing, may be the result of excess energy. Make sure your new pet gets plenty of exercise and playtime. At various times in this tape, we've stressed the need to be firm with your pet. By nature, dogs are pack animals, and each pack has a leader. Your dog will regard you and your family as members of a new pack. The question is, who's to be the leader? By spoiling or giving in to your dog's demands, it's not going to be you. Firm owners quickly gain a dog's love and respect.
Another problem that may develop after bringing your new pet home is excessive barking. You probably won't be able to determine that by the breeder, pet store, or shelter, because most puppies and dogs bark when they're so excited. If the problem persists at home, some training may be in order. Some barking is normal and even acceptable by some owners, but should be able to be stopped on command.
First, try and discover why your dog is barking. Again, you should discourage this behavior with a firm verbal command, such as quiet, or one of the other devices I mentioned earlier. When the dog quiets down, give him lots of praise. Repeat this process whenever the barking gets out of hand. Ultrasonic collars, which are bark activated, are also available and seem to work fairly well. Shock collars should never be used unless under the direct supervision of an animal behaviorist. A third potential problem area is aggressive behavior. The reasons for it are so varied that it's simply impossible for me to make specific recommendations here.
If your adopted dog consistently displays aggressive behavior around people or other dogs, or if you have a breed that is known to be more aggressive than others, I suggest you contact a pet behavior consultant or professional trainer as soon as possible.
For most dogs, however, being continually exposed to new people and experiences is usually all it takes to develop healthy social behavior. Socialization with different types of people, animals, and environments is especially important for puppies during their first 4 to 5 months.
If your dog is fully vaccinated, usually 4 months of age or older, he's ready for more advanced obedience training. Your YMCA, Parks Department, local school, or even your local shelter may offer some classes, and there are probably a number of professional trainers in your area. Your veterinarian, breeder, or pet store may be able to recommend a good program.
It's a fun experience with a very serious and worthwhile purpose, keeping your new friend out of harm's way.
Fleas I hate, but did you know a tiny mosquito can be a dog's worst nightmare?
Heartworm disease is becoming one of the largest health problems of dogs in this country. The disease has been spreading throughout the United States rapidly and is considered a major problem in most of the country and has been found in all 50 states. Because there are no symptoms in its early stages, some pet owners do not have their pets checked, and heartworm disease can go undetected. The disease is transmitted when mosquitoes bite an infected animal. The mosquito ingests the blood containing baby heartworms called microfilaria. These microfilaria develop inside the mosquito to become infective larvae. These contaminated mosquitoes then infect other animals while sucking their blood. The larva is passed to the animal and then begins to molt and grow while moving to the heart. Finally, the young adults find their way to the heart and pulmonary arteries where they mature into reproducing adults, and the cycle is allowed to begin again. If you think about the number of times your pet may be bitten by mosquitoes, you'll see why it's essential to have your veterinarian check your pet for heartworms. Dogs and cats who live outside and in warmer climates are at a higher risk. However, as the disease can be transmitted by a single mosquito bite, all are at risk. And today, with our increasingly mobile population, with owners and pets moving from place to place, heartworm disease can show up anywhere. Another universal problem all pet owners experience is fleas. They are found in every state in the nation, but tend to be more common in the warmer areas of the country. These pests are hardy creatures. They can live in carpets, on the lawn, in furniture, and even in dust on the floor. They can live in these areas without feeding for as long as 125 days, just waiting for a host pet. Your veterinarian is a flea control expert and has available the latest information on those products that are currently working best in your particular area. Most flea control programs start with a selection of insecticides to use in your pet's environment, such as foggers, sprays, foams, or dust. It's advisable to vacuum carpets and clean bedding after insecticide treatment. Be sure to dispose of the vacuum bag properly to prevent the further reintroduction of fleas and eggs back into the environment. Be careful and always read the labels of the products you use. Many outdoor products are totally unsuitable for indoor use and can actually be dangerous to you and your pet. Another method to control the indoor flea problem, especially in houses with carpeting, is a desiccant powder which will dehydrate the flea. Services like flea busters are available, which will also offer up to a 1-year guarantee. You will want to treat the area again within the 2 to 3 week life cycle of the flea to prevent another generation of fleas from being produced. Again, your veterinarian can advise you as to which products are working well in your area. To control fleas on your pet, you may want to use a flea shampoo or dip them. Bathing itself only wets the coat so that the dip or flea shampoo can penetrate the skin where the fleas are hiding. Besides dips and flea shampoos, there are sprays and powders available which provide quick kill as well as providing residual effects against fleas. Most of these sprays are safe if used according to your veterinarian's directions and can be used frequently without toxicity. Systemic insecticides are another form of flea control over which there is some dispute. These are very strong insecticides but may be warranted in severe flea infestations. Remember, as much as we want to rid our pets and ourselves of fleas, insecticides can be very dangerous. Therefore, your veterinarian's advice in these matters is essential to the success of your flea control program and the health of both you and your pet.
Well, I've really enjoyed spending this time with you today. Remember, if you need to review any portion of this tape, you can find the appropriate section by the color coding method I described earlier. You know, years ago, dogs adopted from shelters were thought to be problem pets. Not anymore. With today's highly mobile population, shelters are taking in more and more gentle, affectionate, and otherwise wonderful animals. I hope we've been able to give you a better understanding about your new friend, and I certainly hope he'll bring many years of fun and pleasure into your home. Thanks again for your time. I'm Dr. Jeff Werber, wishing you all the best.